time for music class. It's time for music class. We're gonna sing la la la, we're gonna play. We're gonna move and groove and have some fun today. It's time for music class. It's time for music class. We are singing. Tracking the tucker. Crisscross applesauce. Hands in our lap. Voices off. Thank you. Here's what we're doing in our video today. We will sing and move to Old Dan Tucker. Then we will sing solfege and match pitch. We will perform rhythms on buckets. And then we will read and listen to John Henry. So if you might make a connection there because you've heard the name John Henry before. All right, so we're going to start with moving to Old Dan Tucker. We did this back in October, and it's a fun moving activity that helps us do line dancing. Now, before, I had my guitar out, but this time I thought it would be good to sing it a cappella so that we're really listening to the words. Old Dan Tucker is a folk song. He's kind of a tall tale, kind of a legend, which connects us to what we're going to be learning at the end of our video today. So everybody stand up. Like I said, it's been since October since we did this, so I don't expect many of us remember this. So this is a line dance, which means there are steps that we have to do. The first thing we have to do is starting with our right foot. We're going to take 4 steps forward. 1, 2, 3. Fourth step is your feet are together. Okay, then you're going to do the same thing going backwards. Step back with your right foot. 1, 2, 3. And step 4 is feet together. Okay, so it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, feet together. 1, 2, 3, feet together. Okay, I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit so you can see my feet better. And I'd like you to do that with me. Ready? Here we go. Forward, 2, feet together, back, 2, 3, feet together. After that, we go to the right, and we step out, cross our foot behind, step out, feet together. Then we go the other way. Step out, cross behind, step out, feet together. Okay. When we add the song, it'll sound like this. Went to town the other night, I heard the noise and saw the fight. The watchman was a-running round, crying, Old Dan Tucker's come to town. Okay, get back to center. Let's do the same thing. This time, whenever we get to the that fourth step, we're going to add a clap. So 1, 2, 3, feet together. Back, 2, 3, feet together. Right, cross, right feet together. Left, cross. Feet together. We do that whole thing 2 times. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Went to town the other night. I heard the noise and saw the fight. The watchman was a-running round, crying, Old Dan Tucker's come to town. Old Dan Tucker's back in town, swinging ladies all around. First to the right and then to the left. Then the gal that he loves best. If you did it right, and Mrs. Oz is a little off, you should be back to center. Okay, after you do that, we're at the chorus. That's the part that repeats again and again. Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, Old Dan Tucker, you're too late to come to supper. Or to get your supper. There's 2 different ways to sing it. When we do that, we're going to step, step, then you're going to turn and clap, and then step, step, turn and clap. Okay, so look like this. Get out the way. Get out the way. Then you're going to do a heel-toe move. So you stick your heel out and then pop your toe back. Get out the way, Old Dan Tucker. And do the other foot. You're too late to come to supper. Then after that, we go back to our forward, back, right, left. Okay? So let's try it. Just copy me. If you make a mistake, make it big. No big deal. Ready? Here we go. Went to town the other night, I heard the noise and saw the fight. The watchman was a-running round, crying, Old Dan Tucker's come to town. Old Dan Tucker's back in town, swinging ladies all around. First to the right and then to the left, then the gal that he loves best. Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, Old Dan Tucker, you're too late to come to supper. And we'll pause there for today. We might do that again for a different movement activity. All right, we're going to move on to our solfege and matching pitch. So I'm going to sing some kind of pattern using these solfege syllables. And your job is to copy me. So here I go. My turn. Do, re, do. Your turn. Do, re, do. My turn. Do, mi, do. Your turn. Do, mi, do. My turn. Do, re, mi, fa. Your turn. Do, re, mi, fa. My turn. So, do. Your turn. So, do. My turn. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Your turn. Do, re, mi, fa, so. My turn. Sol, la, ti. Your turn. Sol, la, ti. My turn. Ti, do. Your turn. Ti, do. My turn. Do, ti, la. Your turn. Do, ti, la. My turn. Do, ti, la, sol. Your turn. Do, ti, la, sol. My turn. Sol, fa, mi. Your turn. Sol, fa, mi. My turn. Mi, re, do. Your turn. Mi, re, do. Nice job. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our bucket drumming activity. So you will need to get your drum, whatever that is for you. I'm using a 3-gallon bucket. You need to get your drumsticks, whatever that is for you. I'm using drumsticks. You might be using a cardboard box and 2 spoons. Great. You might be using an old ice cream bucket and 2 markers. Great. Whatever works for you works for me. Do yourself a quick little warm-up. I remember what we talked about last week. All right. So in last week's video, that was week 23, we learned about the first two different parts of the drum or our bucket that we can hit. If you haven't yet watched our videos for bucket drumming, they started on week 22, day 2. So this is our 3rd video. So make sure that you watch those 2 because those will help you to be successful today. Okay, so if I look above me on this music staff, I see 2 different notes. I see an F space and I see a C space on that treble clef staff. Whenever I see an F space, that's the one that looks lower on the staff, that means I hit the head of the drum. Okay, that's this top part. Usually not right in the center. Off to the little side is just a stronger part. I also see the C space on the treble clef staff. It's the one that is higher. And that tells me that I hit the rim of the drum. And on my bucket, the rim is this part that forms a circle. Okay? So this is the head and this is the rim. When I play the head, my drumstick's a lot more flat. When I play the rim, see how it's at a very sharp angle? That will help you get the best sound. Okay, I'm noticing as I look at my staff above that my rhythm is ta, 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 fine. As I'm reading that rhythm, my eyes are following every note from left to right. Just like when you read a book, you read from left to right. When you do music, you go from left to right. I'm noticing that underneath each note, is the letter either R or the letter L. That tells me what hand I'm using to make that sound. If it says the letter R, that means you're using your right hand. If it says the letter L, you are using your left hand. So if I play this by myself like I'm about to, it's going to sound like this. Ready? Here I go. Right, left, 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 fine. Okay, so like you try to do that with me. And as we do it, we're going to say, let's say head, rim, head, rim, because that's the part of the drum that we're doing. Ready? Start with your right hand. Head, rim, 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 fine. Let's do the same thing, just a little faster. Ready? Here we go. Head, rim, 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 fine. Okay, let's do the same thing a little bit faster. This time we're not going to say head and rim. We're going to say the rhythm, which is ta, 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 ta. The rhythm repeats itself 4 different times, so make sure you're really watching as each note goes by to make sure you don't lose your spot. Ready? Here we go. Ta, 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 fine. If that was a challenge for you, you can pause the video, reverse it a little bit, and do that again. You might have to go a little bit slower and work it up to that speed. If that was really easy for you, great. You can pause it and see how fast you can go. Maybe faster than that. Just make sure you are alternating back and forth and you don't lose your spot in the music. All right, we've talked about the head and the rim. In this next video, we're doing almost the exact same thing. I said video, I meant exercise. In this next exercise, we're doing almost the exact same thing. The only difference is the rhythm and what hand we hit it with, okay? So if I'm looking at that rhythm, I'm noticing it's ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, fine. End of song. Now, the big difference in this is not just the rhythm, but it's also how we switch our hands. So even though we have that TT, we're still going to alternate. Right, left, 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 right. So when we get to that second measure, it almost feels like we're doing it backwards. We're doing it with the opposite hand that we were in the first and the third measure. So it might feel a little funky when we get to that second measure. Okay? Watch Mrs. Isles do it, and then you're going to do it with me. Ready? Here I go. Right, left, 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 right. Okay, do it with me. Ready? Here we go. Right, left, 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 right. Okay, so that was the rhythm. Now we're going to add the rim sound into it. Okay, so notice when I started, I was like this, and then I went to the second measure, I ended up like this. Then I went back to the first measure, I ended up like that. Okay, so let's go nice and slow. We're adding in the rim. Ready? Here we go. Head, rim, head, head, rim, head, rim, head, head, rim, head, rim, head, head, rim. Did you end up over here? Let's do it again. Ready? Here we go. Head, rim, head, head, rim, head, rim, head, head, rim, head, rim, head, head, rim. Okay, let's go a little faster. Ready? Here we go. Head, rim, head, rim, head, rim, head, head, rim, head, rim, head, head, rim. Fine. Let's do it again, and this time we're going to say the rhythm. So let's go ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. Ready? Here we go. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. Just for fun, let's do it without saying anything, and just see if we can stay together. Ready? Here we go. Okay, if that was challenging for you, this one was a lot more challenging than the previous one. You can pause the video and reverse it and try it again at your own speed. Work your way up a little faster. If you thought that was really easy, you can try to go faster. All right, we're moving on to the new sound. Okay, so we've talked about the head, we've talked about the rim. Now we're going to add in the side. So every time we see an A space on our treble clef staff, we're going to hit the side of the bucket. Now, here's something I noticed, and this is just me. I have my bucket right now sitting on a high top stool. So when I hit the side of the bucket, look what tends to happen until it falls down. So just make sure you're in a sturdy place. Maybe set your bucket on a pillow if that helps, or set it on the floor. And if it falls, just pick it up. No big deal. Okay. Just like before, I'm seeing the exact same rhythm we were just doing, but it's all on the side. So we're going to do this one pretty quick. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Start with our right hand, and we alternate back and forth. Ready? Here we go. Right, left, 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 right. Fine. Now let's do it speaking the rhythm. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Start here. Ready? Here we go. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Fine. It's a little faster. Start here. Ready? Here we go. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Fine. A little faster. Ready? Here we go. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ti, ti, ta. Hit it too hard. Fine. Last time, even faster. Ready? Here we go. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ta. My bucket's off the rest. Okay, so now we know head. F on the space. Rim. C space. A. Sides. So experiment with those sounds. They each have a different sound. Experiment with some sound, make some great things happen. Casey Jones. Let's do Casey Jones. I said that we were going to do John Henry, but we're going to do Casey Jones, which is fine. John Henry must be next week, or in our next video. So Casey Jones is a tall tale about a man who was a train conductor. And here's the story of Casey Jones very, very quickly. I have a book that I bought for the story of Casey Jones, but I didn't really like it. So I just thought that I'd tell you the story instead of reading it to you. So Casey Jones was the engineer of a engine, steam engine. So back then they didn't have trains like we do now. They were powered by steam, which was made by shoveling usually coal into a furnace on the locomotive, and that would power the train to move it fast. And Casey Jones was the engineer of that train, which means he was the guy that was driving the train. And back when steam engines were around and kicking it, they would transport sometimes mail and a lot of times passengers, because back then they didn't have planes like they do now. So if you wanted to go from one part of the country to another, you might take a train because it'll get you there faster. You don't have to drive your car. And even back then, they didn't really have that many cars. So Casey Jones was known for always being on time. Always, always, always. And one day they said, oh, this other train conductor, this train engineer can't drive this train, but it's really important that we get this train to this other place in time. So Casey Jones was like, I'm up for the challenge. I can do it. And they said, well, this train's running about an hour and a half late. I'm not sure you can do it. And sure enough, as Casey Jones took off, he made up 5 minutes. And then he made up 10 minutes of that time. And then he made up half an hour and then an hour. And they were so close to making it. They were just like 15 minutes behind schedule. And Casey Jones just kept going faster and faster and faster and faster. And as he was going, he noticed a strange light coming ahead of him in a place where no light should be. And it turns out it was another train coming towards his train on the track. So his pal, what they call him, a fireman, not a fireman like we see who put out fires. It's the person that shovels the coal into the furnace. His fireman, Sid, was there. And Casey Jones says, you have to jump, because this train's coming right for us. And he said, I'll stay here and I'm going to hold on the brake as hard as I can and try to slow this down. So his fireman buddy jumped off the side of the train, and all the passengers were safe and fine because of Casey Jones was able to slow the train down to a normal speed. But because Casey Jones was in the engine at the front of the train, when he hit the other train, Casey Jones passed away. But because of his bravery and holding onto that brake, he saved the lives of his firemen and all the passengers that were on the train, which is a sad story, but a very brave story, which I like. So Casey Jones is a folk hero, or a tall tale. And a tall tale is a story that might be based in something true, but there are some things in the story that are maybe stretch the truth a little bit. So maybe Casey Jones going super duper duper crazy fast that he could make up an hour and a half time, or that Casey Jones was always 100% of the time on time, was maybe stretching the truth a little bit. I'm not sure he could make up an hour and a half if he was driving from one place to another. But that's what he was known for, and he saved a lot of people. So here on the screen, I have the lyrics to Casey Jones, the chorus of Casey Jones. The Casey Jones is what's called a ballad in music, and a ballad is a song that tells a story. We are going to listen to another ballad next time, our John Henry ballad. But in the description below, I'm going to post a link to this video that will show you this song. But I'm just going to sing the chorus for you, because this is what I want you to listen for. And if you want to challenge yourself, you can sing it along. It sounds like this. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin. Casey Jones with his orders in his hand. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin, and he took his farewell trip into that promised land. Okay, let's sing it together. Do your best. I think the hardest part of this chorus is that very last line. You just saw me tapping my cheek just to keep that steady beat. You can tap your hand. Here we go. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin. Casey Jones with his orders in his hand. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin, and he took his farewell trip into that promised land. There we go. Okay, so if you click on the link in the description below, there's a video that you can watch that takes you through the Casey Jones story, and it has all the verses. But really listen for this chorus, because it's super great, and I hope you can challenge yourself to sing along. All right, we only have one thing left to do today, Elementary Academy, and that is to breathe with me and do our train exit. So breathe with me. Here we go. Thank you for joining me for music and making music with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time with more music.